Today we're going to be talking about the rapidly changing dynamics of board operations. And this is an important topic because, as we all know, the ability for an organization to be successful in large part depends on the effectiveness of its board, the special group of people who advise the organization's mission, strategy, and execution. And what sparked this topic was a recent interview that I did with an organization by the name of Boardable, who also happens to be the board management software of a lot of boards that I sit on. And the piece was anchored around some emerging trends that they're starting to see from all of their customers and how their boards operate. And so for this session, what I thought I'd do is share what these trends were, how I see them showing up in the boards that I participate in, and then provide some guidance on how to successfully navigate each one. So trend number one was that boards will not return entirely to in-person meetings. And while this might not be true for some boards that might be local or smaller in scope, it's absolutely true for larger, more complex boards, especially ones that are national and international in scope. So the first thing that it's really important to know is that if we don't have a hybrid strategy, allowing people to connect virtually and in person, it's going to be hard to recruit and to retain board members because board members crave that flexibility, and the virtual aspect of board operations is here to stay for good. Trend number two is that effective remote meetings will require advanced preparation. Not dissimilar from the companies that we work for or other organizations that we're in. Everybody's remote, not everybody's in person. And so your ability to onboard people into a meeting, to effectively prepare for that, is really key to running an effective board operation. An example of something that we do as a best practice for a lot of the boards that I sit on is to film a small 5 to 10 minute video talking about the success criteria for that meeting. In other words, this will be successful if, and just giving people an understanding of what they need to come prepared to discuss or knowing before the start of the board meeting in order to make that meeting engaging and productive. Trend number three, mission critical work will be hybrid. So unlike before where you had everybody in person and you were able to break out into committees, there's never been a larger demand on our schedules and for our time. There's a very weak gray line, and we've lost the boundaries in the sense of when work starts and stops because of the hybrid nature of the work that we do today. So it's really important to start to implement procedures and policies that allow your board and committee members to work asynchronously, not requiring them to be in the same place at the same time in order to get their work done. And that's where leveraging progressive approaches and technology comes in and will really pay dividends for your board operations over time. Lastly, boards will become more distributed. And I could say this is absolutely true firsthand. This is not necessarily a bad thing per se, because if you think about it, being a distributed board will allow you to increase the geographies that you recruit from and where your board members are located. But it is something that's going to take some change management on your board operations because you don't have the luxury of being in place all at the same place at the same time. So if you take a collective list or inventory of all these different trends and all the other observations that you're probably seeing yourself if you happen to sit on a board, here's my advice. In part of your strategy or in one of your upcoming meetings, make it a point to take inventory of the collective opinion of all of your board members and really seek to understand how they feel about the new hybrid and virtual aspects of the way that they work, and invite them into a conversation to reimagine how you run your board meetings, including how you prepare for them, how you actually spend your time in the board meetings. I'm a big fan of the 2Ds. The only thing that you should be doing in an actual meeting is either discussing or deciding something, as opposed to wasting time bringing people up to speed. And then just really implement the collective wisdom of your board members who will be more than happy to share what their preference is. So these are some emerging trends with regard to board operations and how I've seen boards successfully navigate them. And hopefully this advice will help you do the same. Take care until next time.